your heart is racing, racing at the speed of light, and you feel like you got nowhere else to go. No, I hold you till the sun comes in the morning light. Yeah, I'll keep you safe, I'll never let you go.
Dudukin di atas ya.
I'll never let you go. I'll never let you go. I'll never let you go.
Thank you.
I'll never let you go. 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 I'll never let you go.
420 miles.
When your heart is racing, racing at the speed of light,
Now we
and
only
you
have
feel like you got nowhere else to go. No, I hold you till the sun comes in the morning light. Yeah, I'll keep you safe, I'll never let you go. 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 When your heart is racing, racing at the speed of light.
Oke gengs, selamat pagi. Hari ini hari Selasa tanggal 30 September 2025. Kebetulan gue lagi libur gengs. Ini gue lagi jalan-jalan ke Wisconsin Dells. Banyak informasi dari teman-teman, katanya sih di sini banyak tempat main hiburan gitu lah gengs. Jadi apa namanya, ya gue coba datang hari ini gitu. Nah seperti apa nanti keseruannya, nanti kita lihat ya gengs. Ini gue lagi beli tiketnya dulu. Ya ini jadi kita lagi beli apa namanya, beli tiketnya, dan ini jalan seperti ini. Jadi sepanjang jalan ini memang apa, banyak ini loh, banyak tempat-tempat hiburannya seperti itu, kayak gitu guys. Kita lanjut lagi, kita lihat ada apa.
1, 2, and 3:30.
Okay.
But they have a couple groups down there. They're supposed to be going right around 10:30,
Okay.
and there's room on that where they can put more people on.
Okay.
So we'll see how that goes. If
Okay.
you want to just
Thank
down the sidewalk 200 feet, that second set of stairs.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you sir.
Jam 10.30 ada grup, tapi nggak tahu lu bisa masuk nggak. Kalau misalnya lu bisa masuk, kalau muat lu dimasukin, kalau nggak lu jam 11.
Oh ini masih lama dong?
Iya.
Ini baru jam berapa?
Kalau 10.30 masih bisa. Kita
Oh
standby
jadi
dulu.
kita kemana dulu ini?
Itu katanya ke river itu.
Arah ke rivernya.
Iya. Ada bos. Bos.
Oh ini river walk-nya.
Itu turun ke bawah nih.
Ini dulu, bentar dulu. Nah ini apanya tempat.
Itu tuh kapalnya.
Oh iya. Ini petanya nih, geng. Ya udah ya. Bukan masuk dari sini.
Itu turun loh.
Apa tel put? Jadi naik kapalnya selama 2 jam.
Iya.
Ke Milwaukee dong itu berarti 2 jam gua.
Ke Chicago. Tuh ada grup tuh.
Tapi kalau ada grup nggak bisa masuk dong.
Kalau dia bilang masih muat, lu bisa dimasukin 10.30 itu. Tapi kalau nggak ya jam 11.
Jam 11 berarti nanti nunggu grup lagi dong.
Tahu.
Ya enggak?
Ya kalau rame emang gak enak udah ntar aja jam 11 aja kok bisa. Rame nggak dia?
Enggak lah. Ya lu kalau 10.30 juga pasti kan dia nunggu orang juga lah, rame-ramein juga lah.
Gue
Cok.
rasa ya udahlah.
Mana mungkin nunggu cuman lu doang di bawah jalan.
Rugi ya dia.
Duduknya yang di atas ya di bisa ya katanya ya. Jangan yang di bawah, di atas. Jadi kita naik kapal
Ada
itu
3
kan.
kapalnya tuh.
Tuh kapalnya gini.
Dikit tuh kapalnya.
Tuh ini kapalnya gengs. Jadi kita nanti jalan-jalannya pakai kapal ini gitu. Let's go. Masuk pas lu. Gak usah. Tour boat here, jet boat. Boatnya yang mana kita, jet apa enggak?
Enggak lah.
Ya.
Ya.
No tour. Kita nggak pakai.
Iya tur.
Actually, come over this way. All these folks are in front of you here, so if you're looking for an upper level seat, you may not get that on this boat.
Oh, oke.
But you can get, there'll be plenty of room on the boat,
Okay.
just maybe not the upper
Okay.
level. Come on over here, though. And this will leave about 11 o'clock.
11? Okay.
Maybe a little bit before. Board the boat in order of your arrival. All these folks are in front of you, so you'll be over here at the end.
Thank you. Oke geng, lanjut lagi ya. Nih, gua lagi.
Yeah, I'll do that, but just so you know, you're going to follow these guys.
Years ago. They are gorgeous, gorgeous walks. I mentioned them also because you have restrooms at both of your stops and a concession stand at the first one. So you're well taken care of in those respects. And as always, it's a guided tour from start to finish. Today you'll be on the Marquette. And your guide for today will be Jim. Hello, Jim. Good morning. Maz. Morning, Maz. There he is. There he is. And your pilot for today is the legendary Mike Sweeney. Hall of Fame, Wisconsin Dells. And I mentioned 160 years. Mike's been around here about that. Almost. So what, and I've told all you folks, the third row will go first. And your ticket's all ready to go. These two folks also are going, so head down there. And then row number 3.
Kita dulu.
Iya.
Hold on. Jadi ini kita udah mulai mau masuk ke kapal nih, gengs.
Enjoy the trip, everybody.
Enjoy.
Row what, Tom?
Ada ini hari. Hah?
Ada kamera fotografer itu.
Hari Kamis.
Bagus foto.
Boleh nggak bilangin duduk di atas ya? Jangan di bawah. Bawah susah.
Nggak tahu ya dapet apa enggak.
Makanya ngomong, bilang nanya, boleh nggak gitu.
Nggak dapet ini.
Pada milih di atas semua.
Panjang
Iya.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the trip.
Tapi harusnya kita dapetnya belakang dulu.
Thank you.
Duduknya sesuai
Thank you, everybody.
sesuai urutan.
Enjoy the trip.
Tapi kalau yang di 10.30 sih udah pasti dapet di atas nih. Karena kan kita nomor pertama kan. Yang nomor jam 11.
Okay, folks.
Oke.
And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy the trip.
Ya.
Ini tetap yang ini kapalnya.
Iya. Oh, dia suruh ke atas semua itu.
Ini juga masuk tuh belakang.
Oke.
Kita takut orang nggak masuk.
Oh gitu. Nggak dapet nih duduk di atas. Two, ya. Oke. Mau foto? Here? Oh.
Bayar. Oh yang
Bayar, bayar.
yang belum nggak difotoin tadi.
Ya banyak bagaimana foto?
Yang nggak usah tembus lah ngapain? Oh aturan bilang nggak usah, terus di belakang nggak foto.
Watch your step as you're getting on.
Oh yang bawahnya dibiarin kosong.
Emang kan milihnya upper.
Oh upper ya kita ya. Pantesan mahal ya di atas ya. Nah ini di sini juga boleh.
Everybody, watch your step as you're getting on.
Thank you. Ya.
What's that? Or that said, don't come near me.
Ada.
Let's hold off for now.
Skinny person in there.
No more. Terpisah.
You got a couple seats right
Couple.
across from you.
Oh ya.
Yeah.
Sebelahan tapi
Oh ya. Ya udahlah tuh satu. Jadi kita ke
depan ada satu.
So you know, we have them in that silver bin down there. Also downstairs in the back bench, you have them underneath the blue benches, and underneath you have them underneath the blue benches. Now with that, in 175 years, we've never had to use them, and guess what? I do not expect to use them today because I do not want to get wet. All right? Now with that, you just taste this, place it over your head, take this black strap, wrap it around, and click it to the D ring. And then you jump out and exit. Please raise your hand if you know where the exit is. All right, for those of you who don't know where the exit is, just ask those people right over the sides. And if you miss it after a couple times, I'll come by and throw you in a bag. All right, with that, we're going to have a great trip. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Ya gengs, jadi kita ikut nimbrung sama oma-oma, opa-opa grupnya gengs gitu. cuman tempat duduk gua jadi terpisah sama istri gua. Kira-kira seperti ini, gengs. Ini bentar lagi juga udah mau jalan, jadi keseruannya seperti apa tetap ikutin ya. Ya harusnya sih cukup menyenangkan. Oke, gengs, jadi ini kapal udah mulai jalan. Ini cuman lagi jalan mundur dia.
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to welcome you on board the Marquette. And I am Maz, and your captain again is Mike. Is that right, Mike? That's your name? Yeah. No. So you're going to be going on a 10-mile, 2-hour round trip tour, or about 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Jadi
And,
perjalanannya
with
kurang
that,
lebih ada
we are going to be
10
heading
miles,
upriver.
gengs.
You'll have
Jadi
your first stop at the
memakan
Witches
waktu
Gulch, and
sekitar
then your
2
second
jam lah
stop
ya.
will be at Stand Rock.
Seperti itu.
With that, you'll have we'll explain a little bit more as we get close to those to give you a little bit of history about it and what's going on with that. Now, with this, I'm going to hand this over to Mike. Mike's going to give you a little bit of information, and then I'll be jumping in and out as we go down the river. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Maz. Good morning, everybody. Welcome aboard the Marquette. As Maz said, my name is Mike. I'll be your pilot on the tour today. I'm actually a native of the Dells. I've lived here my entire life. So if any of you want to know what this area used to look like before they started building water parks, just check in with me. I always like to start out the trip, for you folks up on top, if this is the first time you've ever taken the Upper Dells, would you just tap your feet? Nice. That's not thunder, it's a perfect day out today. Down here a wave, first time on the Upper Dells? First time. Okay, super. Well, we love to show this off. We feel it's one of the most beautiful places in the entire Midwest, and I hope you agree with us by the end of the tour. A little bit about myself. When I was 8 years old, I lost my father, so I went down to the streets of Wisconsin Dells and shined shoes to make enough money to buy my school clothes. That's back when people wore shoes that needed shining. Wouldn't be a very good business today. After that, I went out to Lost Canyon. That is a horse and buggy ride in Lake Delton, Wisconsin. And then when I finally hit 18 years old, I arrived right down here at the Upper Dells boat docks. And no, I have not been here ever since. I actually took a 44-year leave of absence. But the minute I retired, the boat company wanted to know if I'd come back and give some tours a couple, 3 days a week. And it's like, why not? It's absolutely beautiful, and I get to meet so many nice folks like yourselves. So that's my story. If I can make this a more enjoyable tour in any way, be sure to let me know. Now, there's only 2 simple regulations on board these boats. You probably can guess the first one. There's no smoking of any kind on board. No smoking, please. The boat company has only designated one smoking area, in fact, on the entire tour. That'll be at the end of the first shore landing at Witches Gulch. When you get to the back of the gulch, there's a little barricaded area. It's right in front of that is the smoking area. And the other thing is, it is best if you remain seated while we're underway. We will pass some of our sister ships, and they'll send some pretty good wakes, and that'll rock us back and forth a little bit. And your safety is of the utmost importance on the tour today. Now, if you'd like to stand up to take a picture of any of these beautiful formations, go right ahead. If you could then return to your seat, then that way you won't be blocking anybody else's view. Other than that, I don't know how to even explain the weather that's going on here in Wisconsin right now. I can assure you it's not always like this, and so we are going to take advantage of every beautiful day we have coming here on board the Marquette. Now, this boat, the Marquette, was built in 1952. It's when we converted and changed from the old wooden boats to these all steel vessels. It was built over at the Peterson Shipbuilders in Manitowoc, Wisconsin, right on Lake Michigan. The boat is 58 feet long, 12 and a half feet wide. We have a seating capacity for 120 guests, and we are powered by two Chevy V8 350 gasoline engines. I can assure everybody that the boat is full of gas, so we should have enough gas and enough power to get all the way up the river and back down again. Speaking of the river now, so everybody knows, this is the Wisconsin River that we're traveling on. The Wisconsin River is the longest river in our state. It starts way up on the northeast corner of the Wisconsin-Michigan border at a little lake called Lac Vieux de Serre. It then travels diagonally across Wisconsin for 420 miles until it finally empties into the mighty Mississippi River down in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin. My wife and I have gone down to Prairie du Chien several times, and we go on that big bank there on the Iowa side, and you get a splendid view of the Wisconsin pouring into the Mississippi. It's one of the hardest worked rivers in the country. There are 26 hydroelectric power dams on this river supplying electricity to the local communities and surrounding areas. So once again, we are on the Wisconsin River. Well, we couldn't have a more beautiful morning to go upriver either. You were real smart to come and take this early morning trip. There's hardly any other boats on the river. We just kind of sail right on up. It's just splendid. Now, people ask me about the name Wisconsin Dells, especially Dells. Well, Wisconsin is a Chippewa Indian word meaning dark rushing waters. Dells comes from the French word dallé, which refers to these layers of sandstone. So we're very appropriately named. We used to be called Kilbourne, Wisconsin until the 1930s, and named after Byron C. Kilbourne, the president of the Milwaukee Road. But Wisconsin Dells is a better fit for our beautiful area here. Now, the first beautiful scene I'd like to show you is called the Jaws, or gateway to the Dells. These two beautiful cliffs on either side form the gateway, kind of the opening up of the Upper Dells. That cliff on the right is High Rock, standing about 65 feet tall. And right across the river is Romance Cliff. Romance Cliff is another 10 feet or 75 feet high. Now, the water between these two cliffs is the second deepest part of the river. It's about 90 feet deep as we go through here. This also marks the junction of 4 counties in the state of Wisconsin. Sauk, Adams, Juneau, and Columbia counties all intersect right here at the Jaws. Now, legend has it that the natives had wedding ceremonies on top of Romance Cliff on our left. At the end of the ceremony, the chief took a bough branch and lit it on fire and dropped it right off the edge. To them, if it stayed lit until it hit the water, it was a sign of a long and happy marriage. If it went out on the way down, though, that was just a sign of a long marriage. Now, the first actual rock formation on the tour is coming up on our right-hand side here. This is known as Chimney Rock. It's the second most photographed rock formation on the tour after Stand Rock. Now, Chimney Rock gets its name because it does resemble the stick and mortar chimneys of the pioneer days. We're just passing it now, off on our right-hand side. Beautiful Chimney Rock. Stands about 14 feet high. That erosion of this sandstone creates this. Now we only have one face or profile on the Upper Dells, and that's of the famous Warrior Black Hawk. If you'll be looking along the right-hand shoreline, you're going to see a large green slab of rock sticking out. That is the nose of Black Hawk. Right above it is a slit for the eye. Down below, a slit for the mouth, the chin to the water level. And if you really have an imagination, use the trees on top as a headdress. This is the profile of the famous warrior Black Hawk. He was part of the Sauk tribe, one of their tribal leaders, and they loved this area. They lived in northern Illinois and came up through here in Wisconsin, enjoyed this beautiful land. But our government wanted to move them all west of the Mississippi. So what happened was they all went over peacefully, but after a few years, they really missed this land, and you can see why. So they all came back, and that started the skirmish called the Black Hawk Indian Wars of the 1830s. Black Hawk led his people trying to stay in this area, but he was finally captured as he fled about 50 miles north of here. The amazing thing is, after Black Hawk was captured, our government recognized his leadership and courage and fortitude. So they have named many things after Black Hawk. You're probably aware of some of them. We have a Black Hawk helicopter in the U.S. Army. Right here in the Dells, we have the Black Hawk Motel. I'll show you Black Hawk's Island in just a couple of minutes. And if any of you are from Chicago, anybody Chicago? Maybe upstairs? Well, anyways, I do apologize for the difficult season you had last year. But you do have the Chicago Black Hawk hockey team, also named in honor of this Black Hawk warrior. Now people look at the river and they think, boy, this Wisconsin river must be real polluted by the color of it. But that's anything but the truth. The Wisconsin River is one of the cleanest rivers in the United States. The reason for this root beer coloration is that the river does pass through the tamarack swamps way up north on the Michigan border. And those tamarack trees give off tannins or tannic acid right into the water, and that's what gives it this root beer coloration. Now you might be wondering, is tannic acid harmful? Well, absolutely not. There's about a 95% chance you've all had tannic acid today. If you started your day out with some coffee, tea, or cola, tannic acid gives those products their coloration. Or maybe you had a breakfast like your host Maz here. Tannic acid is also found in Jack Daniels and red wine. Well, I should say Maz's favorite beverage is water, so he's exonerated. There is a lot of kayakers that come out and use this river here. One ahead of us on the left here. Such a beautiful day to kayak. And here comes one of our sister ships. This is just a single-decker boat, but they configured it so that it's a wide-open boat. It's also good for viewing, and I think they're on a little work voyage right now. Okay, Black Hawk's Island is straight ahead of us here. It's a massive 200-acre island surrounded by two waters. Off to the left ahead of us is what we call the Old Riverbed. Now it's only about 2 or 3 feet. Oh, here we might have a bald eagle. Yeah, they hang out here. Oh yeah, there's one perched on this bare branch here on that tallest pine tree, and his mate is flying ahead of us, just straight ahead of us along Black Hawk's Island. They're beautiful sights, these eagles. Be watching for them on the tour here. Now it's only about 2 or 3 feet deep in the Old Riverbed, and we need about 5 feet underneath the Marquette. So unless you had your Wheaties and want to help me push a 28-ton boat off a sandbar, we better stay off here to the right. This new riverbed was carved out probably about 10,000 years ago with the melting waters of those glaciers that had just poured through here and carved it out. Now today, Black Hawks Island ahead of us is used as a 4-H Boy Scout and Girl Scout campsite known as Upham Woods. It's owned by the University of Wisconsin Extension. Boys and girls come here year-round on the island here. They learn all about the outdoors, survival in the wilderness. They learn about the vegetation, the flowers and trees. In fact, botanists from the University of Wisconsin have come here, and they tell us of all the species of trees that are native to Wisconsin, and there's over 100 varieties. They all grow on Black Hawks Island here. That's just really amazing. We'll follow this island for about a half a mile now on our left. It's confession time. How many of you have ever had a Butterfinger candy bar? Yeah, we're all guilty. Well, this is Butterfinger Rock off to our left here. Looks just like the inside of the Butterfinger candy bar. The reason for that is this sandstone holds so many minerals. There's zinc, copper, manganese, cobalt, iron. All those minerals give it this very beautiful look. Now the next rock formations come right off of Black Hawks Island. We're going to be looking for what's called the Twin Sisters, 2 rock formations that are almost identical in size and shape. Now if you look ahead of us on the left here, you will see the first of our Twin Sisters about 40 yards in front of us, sticking out away from the Black Hawks Island. And then look 30 yards past the first one, you'll see the identical twin sister. Almost identical here. Sitting there so quietly this morning. We love to name our rock formations. You're going to discover that. The first of our sisters, her name is Kate. First one is Kate. And the second one, we call her Duplicate. Now that one is Maz's. I can't be held responsible for that one. If that was painful though, you may be in for a long trip here today. Our twin sisters. Now, just ahead of us on the right, there's a little inlet of water that goes back into what's called Chapel Gorge. Chapel Gorge gets its name because of the pulpit-shaped rock just to the left of the entrance. Those are the same pulpit rocks that the preachers used to give their Sunday sermons on. Now, look back in there. It's very beautiful. It's almost a cathedral-like look, especially when the sun's hitting back in there. That is Chapel Gorge and Pulpit Rock. Now, they did have wedding ceremonies on top of Pulpit Rock. Tell me that wasn't a beautiful setting. They'd gather around with canoes and rowboats. The couple would be on top of Pulpit Rock there. What a setting for a wedding. But after a few years, they noticed that most of the marriages that took place here weren't working out, and nobody could understand what happened until somebody said, well, they started on the rocks. I guess that's mine. I'll have to take responsibility. I can't blame everything on Maz here, you know. We're now entering my favorite section of the river other than our shore landings for beauty and just serenity. This is known as the Narrows. It's only about 52 feet wide as we go through here, and it is over 100 feet deep. Now, about 100 yards ahead of us, the Wisconsin River will make a sharp 90-degree bend to the left. This has always been known as the Devil's Elbow. And the reason for that is before Wisconsin became famous for its cheese and Green Bay Packers, lumbering was a big industry in the 1800s. All winter long up north, those hardy lumberjacks would chop trees down. And then in the spring of the year, after the snow melt, when the river was running its fastest, before any dams were on the river, they built log rafts up north. And that's how they transported lumber in those days, building log rafts coming down the river. But when they hit this Dells area, this current around this corner was so fast and swift, many times those lumber rafts would crash into the rocks ahead of us on the right. There was reports of injury, even some loss of life. So the lumber company looked for somebody who may be real skilled at getting around this corner, and they found just their man in a standing river pilot named Leroy Gates. Now, Leroy Gates is one of three names we're going to give you today that make this such a memorable place on our river. After Gates was hired, he broke the big rafts up, tied them together in smaller rafts, and there was no more loss of life. But what happened was the railroads came along, and all the lumber was transported by rail, and it was cheaper and faster. The logging era came to an end, and Gates had to come up with a new occupation, and we credit Leroy Gates with starting the Dells Boat Tours. Leroy Gates. Isn't it just beautiful through the Narrows here? We're starting to get some color. They didn't have to twist my arm to come work here. You can see why. Now, Gates's inscription is along the left-hand shoreline here. It's hard to read this. It's about 8 feet above the water level. I'm going to read this for you. It says, Leroy Gates, Dells and River Pilot from 1849 to 58. Oh, it's pretty clear this morning. You can make out a lot of those words. That's really nice. Now, we'll look at that on the way back, too. Gates's trip was a little different than the one you're on the Marquette here. You came down to the shore and you handed him 2 bits. He handed you 2 oars. You got in his rowboat. He sat in the back under a big umbrella and pointed out all these beautiful formations, and you had to do the rowing yourself. It's said that some of those trips took up to 6 to 8 hours to get all the way up the river and back down again. So I think we've got it just a little bit better here on board the Marquette. Now, as I mentioned, we've been traveling along Black Hawk's Island on our left here for about a half a mile now. The upper end of that old riverbed is ahead of us on the left. It's very, very beautiful back through the old riverbed. Now, even today, when the river gets high in the spring of the year after the snow melts and you get a lot of rain in the spring, the river can be so dangerous we can't go through the Narrows. The current is so strong, so we actually go back around the old riverbed. We had to do that for about 2 weeks this year, and it's a beautiful path, but there's nothing quite like the Narrows. Off to the right is the docking for the Ghost Boat. I don't know if you've heard of the Ghost Boat. We bring people up here at night and drop them off, and they walk back through Coldwater Canyon. As they're walking back through there, there's actors and actresses dressed up in costumes, and they jump out and scare the dickens out of you. It's been very, very popular. We also added a beautiful light show. Now there's just limited amounts of days that the Ghost Boat is still in operation. In the summertime, it's every single night. It used to be the third shore landing on these tours. We would actually drive the boats back into Coldwater Canyon, turn around, and the people would walk back through there, but it made it over a 3-hour tour, and it just seemed like nobody wanted a 3-hour tour, so we turned it into the Ghost Boat. Ahead of us on the right is the Giant Shield. This used to be an overhanging cliff that fell in this position. Today we use this as a high water marker. You see the dark portion at the bottom of that shield? That's how high the river was this year. But imagine in 1938, the river crested 3 feet above the top of the shield. It's the highest water ever recorded. When the river gets halfway up the shield, we stop the tours. It's just too dangerous to be going up and down the river. Now we have tons and tons of wildlife, as you probably can guess. We've got deer in abundance. We've got coyotes, raccoon, possum, fox. We've got smaller animals, the rabbits, squirrels, and chipmunks in abundance. There are even bear now in south central Wisconsin. Bear have come down this far. But there's one animal nobody believes we have, and that's a crocodile. Anybody like crocodiles? No hands went up. Okay, I understand. Well, I saw him a week ago. I saw him along the shore here on our left a week ago. I'm taking a look. Oh yeah, here he is ahead of us on the left. He's on this second rock here, just ahead of us. He's facing the river. It looks like he had a really good breakfast because he lost his lower jaw. All right, well, that's really a crocodile. Okay, this sandstone that you've been observing today is absolutely amazing stuff. It's called Cambrian or Potsdam sandstone.
Yeah.
It's found in only 3 places in the world. It's found in Potsdam, Germany, where it gets its name. It's found in Zurich, Switzerland, and we have the largest deposit of this sandstone right here in the Dells. Now the amazing thing is it's so soft and brittle, you can go up there and peel it off and crumble it into your hands into tiny sand particles. Yet because of all the minerals we looked at, and also the 90% moisture that it contains, all this vegetation can grow their roots right into this sandstone. Some of these tree roots grow back as far as 20 to 30 feet to stabilize these trees along our shores. So once again, this is called Cambrian or Potsdam sandstone. You'll see it up close on our 2 shore landings at Witches Gulch and Stand Rock. Okay, it'll be just a few minutes till we get to our next point of interest here. So give you a chance to sit back and just enjoy the beauty of this river. And we'll be back telling you more things real shortly. Thank you.
Wisconsin River and can you fish it? This is a very active fishing river, and we have normal like catfish, we have smallmouth bass, largemouth bass, crappie, myriad of other fish. One of our largest though is the sturgeon. That'll grow up to 6 or 7 feet long, and it can weigh up to 200 pounds, 220 pounds. Very, very protected, but it does have a season that you can come up and go fishing. So yes, if you want to go fishing on the Wisconsin River, it is very active and you will get some very good fish.
Okay, straight ahead of us now is the only all-rock island here on the Upper Dells. It's called Steamboat Rock. When viewed from the air, it's said to resemble the pumpkin seed-shaped steamboats that used to navigate the Mississippi River. Now we can actually take a little journey around this island. It's a very, very dangerous waterway. It's been given the name Lover's Lane. Oh, doesn't sound too dangerous. Very beautiful as we go around Steamboat Rock. I always like to ask, kids on board, any newlyweds? Oh, we do? They were not raising their hand. All right, how about anniversary couples? No? Nothing yet. All right, well, let's try this one. Do we have any happy couples? Yay! Rock the boat. Well, there's always been a grand old tradition on board the Marquette as we go around here in Lover's Lane. If you've got that special person next to you, this would be the time to reach over and give them a nice crisp $20 bill. These are family-friendly tours. The stairway off to the right leads up to Chula Vista. Chula Vista means beautiful view, and isn't it lovely back here? Now that's the only resort on our Upper Dells. The only resort, and that's by design. And that brings us to the second really important person. After Leroy Gates, who started these tours, we arrive at a man named George Crandall. Now what role and who was George Crandall? Well, first off, he was a very, very wealthy railroad man from Chicago. And he came up here in the early 1900s and he fell in love with this Upper Dells, and you can see why. Well, what happened is Mr. Crandall came up here year after year. He noticed houses, cottages, even businesses being built along the shores, and he didn't like that one bit. So what Mr. Crandall spent the rest of his life doing was buying up as much of this land as he could. It's said that during the Great Depression, he could buy some of this for $1 or $2 an acre. After he bought the land, he tore down the businesses, buildings, and cottages, and he replanted the trees that were native here. This is actually our George Crandall Memorial Forest off to the right. And by the end of his life, Mr. Crandall had obtained 90% of our Upper Dells. And then he turned it all over to the University of Wisconsin Alumni Research Foundation in Madison with the one stipulation: there could be no building of any kind along our shores. So we owe a great indebtedness to Mr. Crandall. Can you imagine the houses and the cottages, businesses, resorts along the river just ruining this beauty? So Mr. Crandall wanted you folks in the year 2025 to be able to view this just as he did in the early 1900s. 25 years ago, the foundation turned it over to the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, and now they are the custodians of this beautiful land. They made it a state natural area, which means there's no access to these beautiful lands. Okay, we're going to get up to Witches Gulch. That's going to be our first shore landing, something that you'll marvel at and love very much. I would warn everybody though, as we get up around the corner, it's a little wider and it could get a little windier, especially for you folks upstairs. If you have any hats, scarves, sunglasses, cell phones, anything that could fall off into the water, just be aware of the wind as we get up here. Now here's what we want you to do. If anybody loses something in the water, stand up immediately, raise your hand. Maz will come by, stand right next to you with his hand up, and together you can wave goodbye. We did have a lady drop her cell phone one time, and another lady dropped her binoculars in the river, but just be aware of that. So far, the two men that have played such a role, Leroy Gates, the founder of these boat tours, George Crandall, who preserved all the land, and then Maz is going to tell you a whole lot more about the third person that's so important. So enjoy the ride up to Witches Gulch.
Now, as Mike had said, that our river is very hard working. We have 26 hydroelectric dams. The very first one was back right near where you got on the boat. That one was the Kilbourne Dam. Now before those were built, and the first one was built in 1908, imagine this river was 17 feet lower. Okay, so we had a very fast moving river. Once they built that dam, that raised it 17 feet. And as you're coming up here, Mike said that it's going to get much wider up here. It's about a mile across. And with that mile, what they did is, as it flooded out that whole area. Now, there used to be a standing forest up here. They did not cut the trees down. They just let it all flood out. So then what would happen is the people back then were very smart, and they were like, hey, free wood. So what they ended up doing is waiting until winter time when the river froze over, and then they went out there and cut down all of those trees. Now with that left a lot of stumps come summertime. After the ice thawed, you had all these little stumps sticking out of the water. So it created a navigational hazard. Now back then it wasn't too big of a deal, but today it is a big deal. Mike still has to watch out for stumps that would be sticking out of the water. Now with that, as we have used this much more, and they have taken out most of the stumps in this area. But if you can imagine that, a home looking straight ahead, and all you saw was a forest in the water. Sit back for a few minutes. We'll be at Witches Gulch in just a couple minutes. Thank you. As we come up here to the Witches Gulch, if you look on your right-hand side, this is called Sunset Cliff. Sunset Cliff is 90 feet tall. It is our tallest cliff here. And also the reason it is called Sunset Cliff, if you would look off in the evening, on the sun would be setting here off to your left, and then that would shine against the Sunset Cliff, and it actually has a lot of different hues from those minerals that Mike was telling you about, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Now Sunset Cliff, directly to the other side of here in this little opening, is Signal Point. Now Signal Point and Sunset Cliff do make the opening to the Witches Gulch. With that, a Signal Point, it is said that the local tribes would go up there and they would actually do smoke signals, which would allow everybody in the area to know what was going on. So they would use this cliff often for that purpose. Now as we go into Witches Gulch, it is an absolutely gorgeous place to go into. We have two stops today, as I told you. This would be our easiest stop. It's about a 2-block walk in, and then you would walk on that same sidewalk coming back out, and that's about 2 blocks out. It's very level. It is also gorgeous because it's going over top of a old trout stream, and as that goes across there, you'll be able to see some different things like the witch's window, witch's bathtub, and also Spooky Lane. Now if you're not sure which witch is which, just look for little brown signs with yellow writing and it'll tell you. Now we are going to ask that you remain seated until we get in there, and once we get tied up, we'll let you know when it's safe to go ashore. Now at the back of the Witches Gulch, you'll have a concession stand, which might be the spookiest thing of all. But we have bathrooms, and then we also have the only smoking area at the very back of that gulch. So with that, sit back. We'll let you know when it's safe to go ashore. Thank you very much. Also, as a reminder, please take the same seats when you come back. We do not want any blood on our really nice furniture that we have, okay? Thank you.
gengs, jadi ini kita udah turun dari kapal. Ya, kita turun dari kapal untuk jalan-jalan lagi ke atas.
Di pemberhentian pertama.
Ya, di pemberhenti. Ada berapa kali berhenti sih? 2 ya? 2 kali stop, gengs. Jadi ini yang pertama. Ya, kalau
Ada WC kan?
sedikit lihat, kalau lihat dari videonya, gua kehabisan baterai, gengs, di kamera pertama gua. Ya, untungnya gua masih ada stok kamera. Untuk merekam momen-momen yang indah. Oke, bisa pegang ini ya?
Habis baterainya. Lagian juga di pos-pos.
Ini penampakan apa namanya, pemandangannya, gengs. Bagus ya. Berapa menit katanya?
Ngantuk.
Ya, nanti mau coba ke itu deh, ke Best Buy beli ini tongsis buat sini deh. Susah, nggak bisa. Wah, cantik, gengs. Udaranya juga adem. Wow, cantik sekali.
Itu ke belakang juga capek.
Padahal tongsis buat HP juga ada tuh tadi di mobil tuh. Nggak kepikiran. Iya. Padahal itu kemarin isi full loh baterai loh.
Oh, tadi sejam. Sejam tuh. Tuh, udah 1 jam.
Justru kemarin gue inget gue isiin dulu.
Sejam lagi.
Jernih ya air ya. Tadi keren tuh ada goa-goa yang masuk ke dalam itu ya, saya nggak bisa masuk. Mau foto gak, Vi? Pakai HP lu sini, gue fotoin. Gak apa-apa, kasih dia orang masuk dulu. Berdirinya begini. Lu berdiri gitu nggak apa-apa. Ya. Gak ada orang lagi kan? Oke. Fotonya pakai itu.
Hah? Pakai ini?
Jadi tempat apa ini?
Itu istirahat.
Oh, naik lagi ke atas lagi ya? Ya gengs, jadi ini kita ya apa namanya turun ke pemberhentian yang kedua. Jadi atau nih di sini ada apaan?
Oh, ini yang baru.
Kita lihat di dalam ada apaan ya gengs. Coba pegangin dulu, kok mau masuk. Ini mau masukin kantong ya. Tadi dia bilang kalau nggak salah bisa tembus ke itu juga, ke mana, Chicago ya. Ini
Enggak lah, lagi ngomong gitu Black Hawk. Sampai tua.
not a great situation. Looks like it could fall on us. Wow. That might be the one that dog took over. Oh, tinggi loh. Jadi kita mau ke sana, geng. Batunya. Sampai sini doang gitu?
Enggak, naik lagi ke atas lah. Dia kali ada sini dong.
There really is a dog. Come right on up here. You are wanting to get a picture of the dog as it's jumping. Some of your best viewing is right here for picture.
Oh, rame-ramean foto di sono.
Gini doang.
Iya. Nggak ke atas-atas lagi. Hah? Nggak usah lah.
That's exactly what I do. I will. I've got to give you a little history once everybody gets up here. So I got to finish the rest of that story.
I feel there's a net.
Ngos-ngosan semua. Ngos-ngosan.
Has the dog ever missed? And it wasn't missed.
Tapi seru juga sih kalau apa nimbrung sama ada orang tur kayak gini ya kan, jadi
Rasa ikut tur.
iya.
Tapi tadi yang perahu kedua juga.
Everybody can come on up here so I can get started. Oh, yeah, I mean,
Yes, they did, right?
Ya.
All right, if everybody, I'm going to go ahead and get started so that we can give you a little bit of time for all of this. Now, I told you about H.H. Bennett. H.H. Bennett stands for Henry Hamilton Bennett. Now, as I said, he came to this area with his family. Now, he loved to take pictures, and nobody would believe that he made something for stop-action photography. That was groundbreaking scientific stuff that he did at that time. Now, he knew of this area, and he came up here and he set his camera over there, and he brought his young son, who was 16 years old at the time. His name was Ashley. Now, as every good dad does, what does he do? He said, "Hey, Ashley, I got to get a picture of this. Go up there and jump from that to that so I can get a picture." Oh. Now, that's 47 feet tall. It's 5 feet 7 inches from that very closest point. All right? So you moms take a picture of this if you've got kids. He didn't do it just once because that didn't turn out quite right. Not even twice. Not even 3 times. He did it 17 times till he got that perfect picture that you see right here, and it's called Leaping the Chasm. It proves, without a doubt, that he was able to do stop-action photography. That picture went around breaking.
Oh my.
Now, as most things do, the hubbub wore off, and everybody started going, "Man, that is some beautiful area." And thus, this area got added to the boat tours, and it's been going on ever since. Now, I am going to tell you, today we're jumping Bennett. We do jump in dog now. It used to be years ago, you could go up there and jump over, and they said, that's not a good idea for losing customer, might not be good for business. So then they were having people like us, they'd send the guide up there. Because you don't want to lose a pilot, they're harder to replace, but me, you can pick one up anywhere. So I'd go up and jump over. Well, then in the 70s, the insurance company said, because now we're stuck on the line if they get hurt. So now we have dogs, and yes, they are very trained. And today, Bennett will jump over. Now, Bennett is not going to stop in midair and go, take my picture. All right? So what I suggest is taking a video, or if you think you're good enough, get it ready and snap that picture. Is Bennett ready? We are.
Lu berani lompat? Masa? Nggak, itu kayak gitu lompat
Iya.
gitu berani?
Enggak lah, itu orang.
Mana ada?
Bennett will jump over and back over.
Mana ada orang mau lompat? Oh, bukan itu.
Balik lagi.
Asu.
Thank you very much. Now, I will tell you this. They get a treat every time they jump. If they gave me ice cream every time, you'd never get me off of that. With that, this portion is over. Do not go down the wooden section or those pictures I was telling you about. You will get grumpy because there won't be a boat there. Go off to the right on the concrete portion, up around the building, and then you're going to see some absolutely gorgeous rock formations and some beautiful views of this bay. I'll be the last person to come along. We've probably got about another 15 minutes here. And if anybody wants to, start right over there. Take your time for taking pictures.
Suruh foto ya?
I'll let you know when we have to go.
Yaudah, jalan lah. Jalan sampai ke atas juga.
Jangan yang pertama, nggak tahu jalan.
Pull my t-shirt back. I want to take a picture of me with
Pasti balik lagi ke sini juga sih harusnya.
Iya.
Ya, asu apa tuh tadi?
Asu lompat ya. Ada orangnya.
Iya, ada api.
I don't know. I didn't catch it. I was. Yeah, 1900. Year. We can ask them when we get back on the boat. Hi, Joanne. I'm Sandy. Long time. Yeah, black one.
Tuh, bisa pegangan juga.
This kind of goes up now. Oh my gosh. We're more than lucked out.
Asian kencing lah. Banyak-banyak. Ada di atas juga nasi.
I thought it was 5:30, but it was really 4:30. Once we get up here, then we start going down again. Yeah, I was here this summer with another group. Oh, you were? Yeah. And I really enjoyed it, but you miss stuff. So I thought, oh, I'll go with the Wiggles.
Ya, gengs. Jadi kita jalan-jalan lagi keliling naik ke atas. Aduh.
This is the hardest part. The walk. I will never cross the washroom.
Ada apa kira-kira di atas? Jadi buntu ke sini dong. Boots.
Yeah, this is the boat. Do you have to use the bathroom? No, no.
Mau puasa?
No.
Oh, two.
Iya. Oh, maksudnya dia tadi suruh ke atas itu ke toilet kali.
Hold your breath.
Oh, ini ada teropongnya sih. Iya, nih. Ini teropong nih, tapi masukin koin. Masukin koin. Iya,
Bagusnya yang pertama.
iya. Yaudah ya, kebut yuk.
Belum tahu itu bener apa enggak.
Iya bener lah.
Terus itu orangnya.
Ini bisa foto. Ayo, 1, 2, 3. Gaya, gaya, gaya. Buruan. 3, 2. Keren. Oke lah gengs, jadi ini sudah di akhir perjalanan kita. Video kali ini cukup panjang ya, kira-kira mungkin yang pasti sih sejam lebih lah ya. Ya sekali lagi singkatnya, thank you sudah ikutin perjalanan gua di mana nih, Wisconsin Dells ya. Nanti kalau ada kesempatan baru gua upload lagi video-video yang seru. Oke? Sekali lagi thank you sudah ngikutin perjalanan gua sejauh ini, selama ini. Sampai jumpa di kesempatan berikutnya. Jangan lupa like, follow, and subscribe di bawah ini. Oke? See you gengs. Bye bye.